In America, some of these habits would feel rude, lazy, or even disrespectful. People would complain, leave bad reviews, or ask to speak to a manager. But in France, they're completely normal and expected. That's because everyday life in France runs on a totally different set of social rules than the United States. Things Americans do automatically can feel strange or wrong to the French, and French habits can leave Americans confused, uncomfortable, or quietly frustrated without knowing why. This isn't about stereotypes, tourist cliches, or politics. These are small, everyday behaviors: how people eat, work, talk, shop, and exist in public that reveal deep cultural differences. The kind of differences you only noticed when you live there, or when something suddenly feels off. Some of these habits will surprise you, some will annoy you, and a few might actually make you rethink how normal life works in America. So pay attention, because by the end of this list, you might realize that what feels polite, efficient, or rude depends entirely on where you are. They don't smile at strangers. In the US, smiling at strangers is basic politeness. You smile at cashiers, neighbors, people passing you on the street. In France, that same smile can feel suspicious. If you smile at someone you don't know, they may wonder what you want. French social rules separate public space from personal space much more strictly than in America. Politeness comes from words and behavior, not constant facial friendliness. A neutral face is normal, not rude. Americans often think the French are cold, while the French think Americans are fake or overly familiar. Neither is wrong, it's just different wiring. And just wait, because the next habit makes Americans feel even more ignored in public. Saying hello before anything else. In America, you can walk into a store and immediately ask a question. In France, that's a mistake. You must say bonjour first. No greeting? You're rude, even to staff, even to strangers. The greeting establishes mutual respect before any interaction happens. Americans are used to efficiency first. Get to the point, place the order, ask the question. In France, skipping the greeting feels aggressive. This one habit alone causes countless awkward moments for US visitors who don't know why service suddenly feels cold. Say hello, then speak. And coming up next is something Americans really struggle with at the dinner table. Long lunches are normal. In the US, lunch is often rushed, eaten at a desk, sometimes skipped entirely. In France, lunch is a real pause, even during workdays. Meals can last an hour or more, often with coworkers sitting down together. Eating is not something you multitask through emails, it's a daily ritual. Americans see this as inefficient. The French see American lunch culture as unhealthy and stressful. This difference shocks US visitors who expect fast food speed everywhere. And the next habit will surprise you even more, especially if you love free refills. No free refills ever. In America, free refills are expected. Soda, water, coffee, just keep it coming. In France, refills are rare or non-existent. You pay for what you order. If you want more, you order again. Drinks are treated as part of the meal, not an unlimited bonus. Americans often feel cheated. The French feel confused by American portions and waste. This small difference says a lot about how each culture sees consumption. And the next habit makes American parents especially uncomfortable. Kids drink wine, sometimes. In the US, alcohol and kids are strictly separated. In France, small amounts of wine at family meals, especially in the past, were not shocking. Today it's more controlled, but the attitude remains more relaxed. Alcohol is seen as something to learn to respect, not fear. Americans see this as irresponsible. The French see American binge drinking culture as the real danger. Neither side agrees, and that's why this habit still shocks visitors. And next up is something Americans complain about constantly when they move to France. Stores close midday. In America, stores stay open all day, every day. In France, many shops close for lunch, or close early, or close on Sundays. This drives Americans crazy. You're used to convenience and 24/7 access. In France, work-life balance matters more than constant availability. Employees are not expected to sacrifice their entire day for customers. Americans call it inefficient. The French call it humane. And the next habit makes Americans feel strangely judged while eating. No eating while walking. In the US, eating on the go is normal. Coffee in hand, sandwich in motion. In France, eating is an activity, not something you do while moving. Walking and eating at the same time can feel sloppy or disrespectful to the food. Americans feel restricted. The French feel Americans don't slow down enough to enjoy anything. This cultural gap shows up everywhere, from bakeries to streets. And next, something Americans really notice at work. Work is not your identity. In the US, asking, "What do you do?" is standard small talk. In France, it's more personal. Your job does not define your worth. Work is important, but it's not your personality. Americans are often shocked by how protected personal time is. Emails after hours? Not expected. Vacation time? Actually used. Americans admire it and feel uneasy about it at the same time. And the next habit shocks Americans the moment they sit down at a cafe. Waiters don't hover. In America, servers check on you constantly. In France, they don't. If they leave you alone, it's a sign of respect. You're not being ignored, you're being given space. Americans often think service is bad. The French think American service feels rushed and intrusive. You're expected to signal when you need something. And just wait, because the next habit confuses almost every American visitor. Tipping is minimal. In the US, tipping is mandatory. In France, service is included. Tips are optional and small. Americans feel awkward leaving nothing. The French feel awkward receiving too much. This difference reflects deeper ideas about wages and dignity. Servers are professionals, not dependent on customer generosity. Americans often struggle to adjust. And next up is something that shocks Americans in public spaces. Public silence is normal. In America, silence feels awkward. In France, silence is comfortable. People don't fill space with noise. Public transport is quieter. Conversations are lower. Americans feel judged for being loud. The French feel overwhelmed by American volume. This contrast becomes obvious fast, and the next habit makes Americans feel surprisingly exposed. Direct honesty over politeness. In the US, softening language is polite. In France, being direct is respectful. Feedback is honest, not sugar-coated. Americans may feel criticized. The French feel Americans avoid truth to avoid discomfort. It's not rudeness, it's clarity. And next, something Americans often take very personally. Fashion is social language. In America, comfort often comes first. In France, how you dress communicates respect for yourself and others. This doesn't mean expensive clothes, but intentional ones. Americans feel judged. The French feel Americans don't try. This difference shows up immediately. And the next habit surprises Americans in everyday conversation. Personal questions come later. Americans open up fast. In France, trust builds slowly. Personal details are shared over time, not instantly. Americans see this as distant. The French see American oversharing as strange. Different speeds, same goal. And finally, the habit that shocks Americans the most. Complaining is cultural. In America, complaining is negative. In France, it's bonding. Complaining doesn't mean unhappiness, it means engagement. Americans hear negativity, the French hear conversation. Once you understand this, everything clicks. What really shocks Americans about France isn't that one culture is right and the other is wrong, it's that everyday habits reveal completely different priorities. In the US, life is built around speed, convenience, friendliness, and efficiency. In France, it's built around boundaries, balance, intention, and respect for personal space. The habits that feel rude or frustrating to Americans often come from a deeper respect for time, privacy, and quality of life. The biggest lesson here is that culture lives in small things, not big rules. How long you sit at lunch, whether you smile at strangers, how loudly you speak in public, whether work follows you home or stays at the office. These habits shape stress levels, relationships, and even how people view happiness. What feels normal depends entirely on what you're used to. Another takeaway is that discomfort doesn't mean something is bad. Many Americans who live in France eventually stop rushing meals, stop apologizing for silence, and stop tying their identity to work. At the same time, many French people admire American openness, optimism, and ease with strangers. Cultural shock works both ways. So instead of asking which culture is better, the real question is, which habits would actually improve your life if you borrowed them? If you enjoyed this kind of cultural comparison, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who's traveled or wants to. And now tell us, which one shocked you the most? Would this bother you if you lived in France?